why not appreciate the show for what it is? That's what I'm saying. Is it not a good show? Because I'm saying, is it not a good show for what it is? It's a political. It seems like it's like a political show that.
But I'm
in this fantasy time.
It's only just because this show only exists because the main show did well.
So that's what I'm saying. It seems that it's a tough disconnect. The main show
did so well.
It's a tough disconnect from that show.
And now I'm hearing that they're going to do these. They're going to do Jon Snow. His own freaking thing. And I'm like, all right, is people going to be like, I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I didn't watch House of Dragon, but I might watch freaking Jon Snow. Like,
what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with anything. People can watch whatever they want to watch, but I'm just saying, like, if you knew, like, and you know in the back of your head.
I mean, that might get them to want to watch the other shows, I'm saying.
These shows wouldn't even be anything without that. Why is that? What makes this show that much?
Why are you watching Black Panther?
I'm just saying, like,
you watch Black Panther, but you don't watch the other Marvel movies?
Yeah.
Black Panther wouldn't happen without the success of those other movies.
Well, Black Panther, we on a whole different level with that.
I know. I'm not saying this is a separate show. It's a separate show. It's a separate story in the same world.
Right.
That's it. That's all I'm saying. You can appreciate House of Dragon without having to watch Game of Thrones, and you can appreciate.
But it just seems so weird that you wouldn't like. Why is
exactly what I said about the Marvel stuff, man? Why you can't watch?
I won't watch that.
Like, yeah, I know.
I've seen them like watching it as like us. Come on, I grew up in that era when Blade came out. Blade was the epitome of all that. They let this dude do this, and they were like, "All right, cool, we in there." They flooded the market with all of these weird-ass, lame-ass characters. Some of them were bombs, some of them were whatever. Yeah. But then, finally, when Black Panther come out, and then there's a big hoorah, now black kids got somebody to look at. Man, after Black Panther, tell me, what was the next black actor that was his own character, that
Blade
had his own movie, that was everything?
Blade or Black Panther?
Black Panther.
All right.
It was just like when Black Panther came out.
That's not the relation I'm trying to make.
All
I'm trying to say is it's one story. This is a story being told in just the same like universe.
Right.
And that's how it's being looked at by some people.
If Marvel had its one story and it was blossomed from that one story, and then all of these things happen out of those stories, I think I would be like, I would say like, let's see what they did to make all of this. Just like Blade. People should really want to go watch Blade on the strength of, like, all of this is blossomed off of this. This dude, this character, this movie made all of this.
Yeah, but I mean, all right, I understand that. But I'm saying you can still appreciate Black Panther. You can still appreciate House of the Dragon without going back and watching Iron Man and all the Avengers movies and stuff like that, or going back and watching Game of Thrones. You can still appreciate this story for what it is. Is all.
That's the show. I don't need to go back. It was there. It was right there for you. It was no needing to go back. I needed to go before. That's what Game of Thrones is. Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. Now we need to go back. Now we're at House of Dragon, 200 years prior, and them people are jumping to catch up.
You don't like that?
It's not that I don't like it, but it's just that. It's just a filler. It's like an appetizer. It's like, it's not doing any of the justice. They made this show, bro.
I wish we didn't have to compare it to it, but I still
like it. But you have to, because it's in the world. I know
personally, but
I'm just saying, like, they made it, like, it's not that it's not connected to it. It is connected to it. So they went and was like, all right, boom, this show was great. 8 seasons, 7 seasons, boom. All right, what can we do now? We need to fill them in so we can, like, figure out what's next. All right, let's do a prequel. Let's go before, 200 years before.
Yeah, which is, you can get creative.
Which is whatever, right. Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, I had no problem with them doing that. But I'm just like, I just know, like, you're not going to get anything better than what you got, because this show made, like, it was, the prequel was only because this show did great. They can put out any actors or anything. Yeah. But I just see the trajectory of it. I just see them like, all right, cool, we did this. And again, Game of Thrones, that last season, those actors were getting like paid buku money. Cersei, the chick that plays Cersei, she was getting $1 million a second or something, $1 million a minute on that last season. that last season. So that made them going in that direction. So now, I mean, it's kind of hard to be like, all right, we need you guys to now do this because now
contracts are up and everything. That's business out of it. The contracts up.
They would have to pay them motherfuckers like,
yeah.
so much. But we can go back and then create a whole new lineup. And now people
hope the show doesn't do good.
I don't. No. I have no problem with it. It's cool.
When it was being announced, were you like, oh, it's going to be worse than Game of Thrones?
I just knew a prequel would just be like, we already, like, in the story itself.
Yeah.
You already know what happened.
You don't care.
You
don't like prequel stuff. You don't like prequel stuff.
I'm not saying that I don't like it, but I don't see their connections right now. And when it, like, I didn't see
you wanted to connect.
I would, yeah, because like this show was so epic, and now we're gonna go before that.
You can't wait till the end of it for it to connect.
But it's supposed to. It's 200 years. Why are we connecting it? Why is there a prequel at all? Why?
So do you want it to connect or do you not want it to connect?
I'm hoping every single episode that it connects, but it's just like we're just watching
a story.
But it's not even okay. So it's more so that it's not even a story. Yes, it's a story, but it's like more so we're watching the strategies, how they lived during this prequel. Like we're watching that. We're watching that has to do with Game of Thrones. The only reason why this show exists is because it's a prequel. It's a before what happens. So we're watching So
you're looking for connective tissue in every episode.
But they are letting you know they're jumping 15 years every 3 episodes. So they're trying to catch up. They're showing you that they're trying to catch up. They want to tie them together. The show doesn't exist without the main show.
Is it failing in you're not enjoying it?
It just doesn't move the story. Like the story is all right. The story was this. So now we're gonna make a prequel to that. This has to move. Like it has to boom. It has to.
I hope it doesn't connect to it at all. But
if it don't, then that's 2 different stories.
I thought it was 2 different stories.
It's never going to be 2 different stories. This is how the houses became the houses. Like, this is the houses on which Game of Thrones, how they became
So, people. That's what I said. You can't wait till the last episode for it to connect.
I'm definitely. I'm watching. I'm definitely.
You said every episode you looking for it to connect.
But you see, freaking, what's my guy name? The King.
Oh, that motherfucker! God damn!
Every episode he's dead. He's dying.
He was done. That was rotten. I thought he was done. Kept him going. I like the game.
Serious but they all kept their. Look at this guy.
Dying.
This is gold.
This is gold.
He's decrepit in every episode, but it's just
we gonna have to keep having this debate about this prequel stuff, man.
Hey, look.
All I know is this show is a story being told, just like any other story being told. You can go back in time and tell stories. You can go forward in time and tell stories. Stories can be plucked from everywhere. I can tell you, we told stories last week.
Yeah.
About our lives in the past. Mm-hmm. It ain't take away from nothing. It was just a story being told. Is it a good story or a bad story? I didn't like it. Okay. You comparing it to my life now? My stories in the past you compare to my life now?
Mm-hmm.
Why? This is a story of
but
then,
it has to. You made a trip over to Cali.
Yeah.
So there's a filler in between. There's a lot of what made you go to Cali?
Yeah.
And then how were your events that when you got to Cali?
Right now I'm in Cali.
Yeah.
So the way I got to Cali is just filler.
Yeah.
That no one cares to hear about.
Somebody might want to see. That's the thing.
And that's what House of Dragon is to you. You don't care to hear about the story.
It's not that I don't care about. I'm living in it, so I don't give a shit.
So if I tell you how the story of how I got to Cali.
Yeah. Some people may want to hear that.
Yeah. All right. Let's say they want to hear it, and then I tell it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that take away from me already being here or something? If the story sucks,
I'm gonna just say some people make some people might not like that.
Oh, that's bullshit.
A lot of people like to see the easy part. They like to see the accomplishments. Yeah. They don't like to see the work or the struggle. But some people actually do like to see that struggle because they know. Some people know, like, I gotta go through a struggle to get to a certain place in my life. Like, some people know that. So some people may like this is their bread and butter.
What if the way I got here is better than me being here? The stories of me being here. They
won't even watch the prequel. They'll just watch the goddamn.
No, I was like, what if the story of me getting here is better than the stories I have of me being here? Just the story of how I got here is just a great story.
But you're here though, so they're gonna see like how do I get to that point? Some people
a lot of people come, all right. A lot of people have, all right, my story, the way I got to college, I got offered this job. I'm like, yeah, now that I'm here though, I'm just a bum in the streets.
That is.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but now I'm a bum in the streets. So my bum in the street story is better than my grand story of how I even got a chance to get out here and be live and all that stuff.
Some people look the black feet.
Oh God.
Some people like you got to know that that's the end result. So you gotta like, all right, boom. We don't need to see the black feet, but we need to see the meat and potatoes.
There's a story of how I even thought about coming to California. That's I think is a good story.
Okay.
I shouldn't tell that story.
Why?
Because it's a prequel. It's a prequel to the story of how I got
Insert prequel fucking story.
And what if I don't connect it to me being out here and
See,
no one ever knows?
This is gonna be the same thing.
It's gonna be House of Dragons. The damn story can stand on its own, man.
Like, but okay, so people that don't know you, they might need House of Dragons.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let's say I never even heard of Game of Thrones. I didn't know what it was at all. I heard of House of Dragons first. I started to watch it. That person that's watching it, do you think that they will not enjoy it? I mean, if it's someone that has similar taste in you, like you like they don't know about Game of Thrones though. They just like, hey, I started watching the show House of Dragons. Like, what do you think of it? I think it's pretty cool. Are you gonna be like, well, you need to stop watching and go back? Are you like you gonna tell them what do you? I mean, do you think they'll enjoy it just for what the show House of the Dragons is?
I think that you have an apparatus that's already there. It's already a something there.
Yeah.
Now, what is current because it's current. This is going on. Some people may be like people that like to watch shows every Sunday. Yeah. But then guess what? There's people that's like, I hate, like right now, I don't want to say hate. I don't like watching shows. He hated as much as I. Back in the day, this is all we had. Like we didn't have no DVR or no like. You watch so it come on we had to watch it as it came. And if that motherfucker came on,
you missed it until the summertime.
You missed it. You was out the loop. And sometimes people didn't even want to bring you in because they just know they had that on you. But you have something that's already there, and it's like it's an already proven thing. If you did not know about Game of Thrones, but you're watching this, you know of Game of Thrones because you're watching this. The only reason this exists is because of that. They're going to be like, all right, why am I watching House of Dragons? You're going to research.
It's a fantasy show.
Huh?
It's a fantasy show.
But what is it deprived of, though?
I don't know, knights, people with swords, dragons.
When you search,
you see the word dragon, you're like, I want to check this out.
We live in an era where people research stuff. So you're going to research
this person didn't
what is House of Dragons.
They was going.
We're in the world right now. Everybody got Google.
These are hypotheticals. I know. Like, so I'm saying, like, can someone not enjoy this show without watching Game of Thrones?
You can.
Is it an enjoyable show
if
without
you have
watching Game of Thrones?
HBO Max or HBO. If you have HBO, you're only watching this. But if you have HBO Max,
do you enjoy it?
Huh?
Do you enjoy House of Dragons?
I like the story. Okay. I do. I like the story. But it's just it's just like, I don't know.
You don't like the
I'm not a book reader. If I was a book reader, I would have a way different, like, line of rebuttals to this. Mm-hmm. But if I was a book reader, somebody would say it in a more sense that would make sense. Because it's like, this show is, that 200, okay, so when people speak of certain time periods in life, we can speak about Martin Luther King. We could do that. We could do Malcolm X. Mm. But then you might just be like, yeah, I already know. Oh. I don't want to see people getting... they don't want to see that part.
Yeah,
they want
to see roots and all that.
Right, yeah. They want to go past the nasty part.
Yeah.
We don't want to see that nasty part. Let's go into the part where it's something.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that Game of Thrones or House of Dragon is any of that. But I'm just saying, like, we're talking about a time period which House of Dragon, hopefully everybody watched it. We're talking about a time period where they didn't allow women to take the seat, take the realm, to a point where a motherfucking bitch took the goddamn realm. She took it. And we know that. So then there are going to be people that are like, I want to watch that. Like, I want to see how that happened. Because it don't just happen in one episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's freaking 8 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, so you got to, like, see the steps. But am I going to, like, disregard that and go to the prior? So I'm just saying, it's probably like two. You know, it's like me. I'm one of the others. I'm like, if I never watched Game of Thrones and I never watched this, but I heard this came out, just like, have you watched Better Call Saul?
No.
Have you watched Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I love Breaking Bad.
Why you haven't watched Better Call Saul?
That character, I didn't care for, and then there's other shows out there. There's a whole lot of factors.
Better Call Saul is fucking House of Dragons. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. So
What's
that's
it?
what I'm saying. It has is you missing.
I don't know. If
I'm just
I wasn't
saying.
even trying to watch Breaking Bad when it came out.
I wasn't either. I'm willing to say that I'm super sorry that I've never watched that when
So
it
you're
first
saying
came out.
You
Because
can't watch Better Call Saul without watching Breaking Bad or something?
I would hate watching Better Call Saul and then like go to Breaking Bad. Like, why would I miss Breaking Bad?
What would it matter?
It matter. Come on, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
I'm just saying, what would it matter if you saw Better Call Saul first?
But I wouldn't want to watch that because like the only reason that show exists is because of Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was so high. See, I'm just trying to get more to my point. My point is just that
If
these
Breaking
shows
Bad
can be
came
great. This show could be great. Better Call Saul could be freaking fabulous. I probably could love it. But it's just that if you type in Better Call Saul, you'll get Breaking Bad. And then obviously, if you're somebody of age, people in your workplace are going to say, "Oh my gosh, did you just watch Breaking Bad?" Right now, that's so past tense. Everybody.
It's two different shows I hear though, right?
I never watched Better Call Saul, so I don't want to say.
But what I
just
heard is two different type of shows.
It's way two different shows. But I'm just saying,
It's House of Dragon.
who the freak cares
a
of
different show.
Better Call Saul?
Some people do. That's the actor, and I'm saying that if I never watched Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
and then I watched that show, that movie, Mr. Nobody, which I like a lot, and that actor that plays in Better Call Saul was in it. If I never came out here and watched that Breaking Bad with shout out to a man who got me watching Breaking Bad, which was a dope show, and like. If I watched it, if I never watched Breaking Bad, and then Better Call Saul came out, and they're like, oh yeah, from the makers or this from the spinoff of whatever Breaking Bad, I will watch Better Call Saul without even having to watch Breaking Bad because that actor is in it. It's a different story being told. It's not something like, oh, I need to know everything that happened in Breaking Bad to watch Better Call Saul.
No, and
I didn't need to watch the first Terminator movie to watch Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is the first Terminator movie I've ever seen. And then I saw the first one like years later. Aliens 2 is the first alien movie I've seen. And then years later I went back and saw the first alien movie.
It's all
what's it called? Back to the Future 2 was the first Back to the Future movie I saw. Then I went back and saw Back to the Future 1, then 2 and 3 in order again.
Some of us just...
It's just stories.
No.
Stories from...
Why did you watch it prior to the first, though?
Oh, they're all different for each one. Back to the Future 2.
Back to the Future 1. Why didn't you watch that when it came out?
I don't know how boring.
You were bored, motherfucker. I watched this shit.
Nah, I don't know. Because Back to the Future 2 is when I watched in the theater. That was the first movie I ever seen in the theater.
Really?
Or my dad took us to.
My first movie was Batman in the movie theater.
God, hold on, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, you...
89. You talking about no ages here, but come on.
Yeah, so Back to the Future 2, yeah, 89.
What,
yeah,
89?
Right,
that was the same year.
Oh, maybe it was Back to the Future shit. No, 89 in the first.
Either way,
It's
like
the second one.
everybody ain't able. Definitely during that time, it is what it was. I think my cousin.
Yeah, it had been.
My cousin took me to see Batman And then whatever year Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. I watched both of them in the movie theater. He fell asleep. He was snoring. I remember. This is then.
Yeah, I guess I was 9 years old. My dad took me to see that movie. Shit.
Back to the Future 2?
Not the first one. Yeah, 2. Yeah. I think, and it was like a double feature.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see this movie.
Back to back type of thing.
This is what, 80 what?
89.
Oh yeah. Probably Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out probably 90.
90. Yeah, 1990. And that was
what was Batman though? 89?
Yeah, definitely 89. Yeah, because that's what they always call Batman 89.
Bro, come on. We was getting hit with bangers.
That shit.
Every
that
year.
movie, man, when that came out, my mom was looking at the symbol. See what the symbol is? She was looking at the symbol and thought that was... She was looking at the yellow part. She was like, what is that, like monster teeth?
Oh.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, it's like a gold monster teeth. And I was like, it's a bat symbol. It's Batman. She's like, oh, I'm looking at the gold part. I was like, what? It's gold teeth. I always remember that, man. We was in the train stations, and that's the only symbol they just had that. And then they didn't say nothing on it. It was just that symbol. It said something like coming soon or something, maybe, and that's it. And he said the director, no name, and he said Batman. And my mom was like,
just that.
What movie is that? She's like, I was like, Mom, can you take me to see that? She's like, what is that? And she's like, gold teeth. I was like, that's Batman.
I can see, like now, I'm trying to like not see that.
I know, the best symbol now I can see like little
see it. I'm like, man, if you see that, like,
she like, is it like,
I ain't seen them like
Ghostbusters?
Crap. Type of illiterate.
I know, there's no gap in the teeth type thing. I was like, teeth. I was like, what are you talking? Now, I couldn't see what she was saying. It's hard for me to see it. Then I was like, oh, all right, I guess when she said gold teeth, she's like, it's like Ghostbusters or something. It's like gold monster teeth. And I was like,
those time frames, man,
that's Batman. And then,
but see, it's just the show. It's just that, yeah, you may not be able to watch some show or whatever when it comes out, and then by the time you start watching it, something's already out.
The point, and the only point I've ever been trying to make is these stories, even like Rogue One. Rogue One's a we know what's going to happen. Well, we know.
Who knew?
Yeah,
I don't know exactly how it's going to
end, but it's a story that's being told in this world. Give me a good story. Andor, 4 episodes in, that show is dope. And the story is being told that's dope. It's a beautiful looking show. It's a beautiful acting, and the story is great so far. That's all that matters. House of the Dragon is very interesting, even without seeing it. Like people who may never have seen.
No,
I don't know who out there, anybody that have not seen Star Wars, and go watch Andor if you like sci-fi shit and enjoy Andor for what it is. Even though Star Wars is it's kind of different because it's like you got to know.
Star Wars is way different.
You gotta know like.
See, you gotta know
the fact, like with this one, you don't have to know that. You learn the houses and stuff like that as you go. I don't know if in Andor, that's interesting. I would like to know though if anybody has not seen any Star Wars and they watch Andor.
And then you got these people that's.
I mean, I'm following it, and I don't know,
Hey, look, I'm following the politics. I am where like you are with this show because this has like, it is so gapped in between. Obviously, the.
I would just hope
is after it.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like
I just want you to enjoy this for what it is. I would hope that you can enjoy it.
Do,
but I'm like, enjoy it for what it is.
I feel like the filler is not
called the filler, man.
It's a dog.
You just mad because they jumping in time.
I'm not like, and again, I'm not biased in it.
They're getting a good story. Look at Damon. Look at his ass.
Who's weird looking as hell.
He ain't got no eyebrows. That's all.
And then they keep jumping time frame, and I'm like, "Are we?"
But it's still following the story?
For sure, yeah. No, I love HBO. HBO was my. I've been rocking HBO since I was a kid. Since we had
HBO t-shirt,
freaking cable.
Yeah.
And I love every freaking story almost every story that they put out. But this show, knowing what it deprives from. It's like, I know it's a filler. And it's like, but where is the...
Stop looking for other shit and just enjoy the show, man. There is nothing.
There is
nothing.
Dog.
There's nothing. Let it be surprising.
People,
don't expect anything.
I cannot wait till Nate watches Game of Thrones and we revisit this whole making it in.
What's going to happen? I'm gonna just be like, hey, I either enjoyed or did not enjoy.
I am going to bet 100
oh dear God,
shillings.
Yeah, shillings.
That Nate says you was right about Game of Thrones.
What's wrong? What did I say you was wrong? What is it? What do you? I don't understand what that is.
I'm saying like you could just like
That
forget
Game
about
of
House of
Thrones
Dragons.
is an enjoyable show?
Stop watching House of Dragons. Like period. Boom.
Stop watching.
Go into Game of Thrones. Watch that.
Yeah.
Finish it. By the time this, they already read up for a freaking second season of this.
Yeah,
but by the time they're done that, they're gonna be caught up to Game of Thrones the way they jumping. So
they might slow it up though. If money talks, man. Money talks. They can slow
the way
it
they
up.
going, come on.
If this keep on making money, they can be like, oh, we're gonna have to slow the story up a little bit.
The reason they make money is because of Game of Thrones. That show.
So what? Okay.
Okay. So why
ain't got nothing to do with this.
why is this show
Same with Better Call Saul.
something? Why is Better Call Saul something?
Because they were telling a good story.
He was just a freaking.
That's what spinoffs are, man. They do that. They try it out. I mean, if this is a spinoff
So you
or
tell
a
me
prequel,
you tell
if
me
the
House
story
of,
sucked,
tell
then
me
it would
House
suck.
of Dragon is a spinoff, which it is, and
Or
I'm
prequel.
like,
It's a prequel.
it's a
Tell.
prequel, but it's a spinoff. It's just
They don't have any characters from the first one, so it's like
No.
really a spinoff. It's just a prequel. But
Game of Thrones set so many records.
if this is telling a bad story, then it won't be on air anymore. They won't have any more sequels. If it's telling good stories, they want to keep it
people
going.
want Game of Thrones. This is Game of Thrones essentially. It's just called House of Dragons.
I don't know if that's true.
I know you don't because you haven't watched Game of. That's what
When
I'm
I
saying.
watched Breaking Bad was what it was. When Better Call Saul come out, I don't want more Breaking Bad. I want to see what Better Call Saul has.
But Better Call Saul is because of it's.
But it
it's
don't have
in
to be
that
the
time
same
frame.
thing. It don't have to
It's
be the
in
same
that-
thing, though.
It don't.
All the Predator movies aren't the same. You just want the Predator. You know,
Well, it's
you
the
don't
same
need it to be the
story,
same.
just different background.
Is that what this is? It's in the same
It's-
world.
It's the same background.
It's
They're
in the same world.
places.
Yeah, they're in the same world. That's all
200
I'm
years
saying.
prior.
It's
But
a different story being told. That's all
not
I'm
a
saying.
different story.
Predator 1 and Predator 2. It's about
Super
the
different.
Predators. Yeah, and one of them sucked more than the other one.
Well, because this.
And this is a different story. If this suck, if the House of the Dragon suck, it ain't gonna be doing nothing.
I'm gonna tell you, it sucked.
That's all.
If I gotta choose good or suck, it sucked.
What?
House of Dragon.
You gotta shoot. I say, are you enjoying it?
I mean, I'm in.
If you think it sucks, it sucks. Yeah.
It's a filler. It's like let's get in between. Like, all right, the show ended. What are you gonna do to us now? Because they know they got us. They have us where they need us. We're there. We're waiting for the next thing that says something about Game of Thrones. We want to watch that atmosphere.
I wonder if that's a popular thing. If that's a popular opinion.
It is. Well, I mean,
That everybody,
Again,
like
this
people
is
who
not-
watch
let's
Game of
just say
Thrones,
this is my
are waiting
speculation.
for this show to show them something.
They can
connected
never
to it.
because the characters that we watch for 8 years
Yeah.
are them. This just is, and they're not even giving. We're like risking through these characters. We're 6 episodes in. We already switched characters twice on the same character.
Well, I mean, that's better than killing them off, ain't it? I guess you'd rather them get killed off like in Game of Thrones.
But if you watch that one, you know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's what that show does.
You know
That's what HBO
from
does.
the jump, though.
HBO lets you know. Oh yeah, we're gonna give you a character. We blossom. We're gonna put them on the thumbnails. We're gonna put them out here. Boom.
Do you want this to be exactly like? You don't want Game of Thrones from this, though, do you? Don't you want it to be its own thing?
I mean, it has to. Yeah, it has to be its own thing. I don't want. It can't be Game of Thrones, but it could be. They could really, bro.
I don't want it to be.
You can't. I hear you, but you can't say that because you haven't watched that. So you can't want it to be something that you haven't even seen. But for what I've seen and what they've done, bro, I'm telling you, like what they've done, they will make a main character. They will blossom him. They will show this character. They will put him in the almightiest. They will have him on the helm. They will have him there. And then this character is now gone. Who you got?
I won't want that with this show. I hope they don't do that.
But why
with
would
this
you?
show.
I didn't want that with the first show.
Exactly. So that be what it is, and it is. Nobody.
But this is the same
Nothing can
thing.
be like it. So Better Call Saul is not like Breaking Bad. Don't let this be like Game of Thrones.
I'm gonna have to say, I've never watched Better Call Saul, so I can't like really speculate on that show. But I just know They didn't come out with Better Call Saul and then Breaking
You
Bad.
confuse me too. So, like I don't know if you want this show to be like Game of Thrones or not. And does it need to be like Game of Thrones to be good?
It's the prequel. It has to be something that where the story was told. Now we're talking about a story that was prior to it. Now, this is really where it gets crazy, is because I watched some shit and it was like a voiceover of the books.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely don't remember. So, I'm really not going to give any spoilers, but I just know that this show or the books, just like anybody knows, you read a book, is way different from the movie or the story or the show or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This part is like allegedly way crazier than Game of Thrones part.
Yeah.
In the books part.
Right.
What I took. So it's like that's my only like take with this show is like, okay, I would like to see how the lineage go. That's pretty much what I take from it. Like the lineage, because in Game of Thrones, what I take from that is the lineage when the show started was all what it was, but a lot of people had problems with it being what it was. This show is showing you how it became to what that was.
Hey,
so that part alone is the only thing I'm riding with this show on. Like, and I know it's going to be good. It's going to be good dialogue. It's going to be good actors. It's going to be good, scenes that they're going to show. Mm-hmm. But the main thing that I'm taking from it is how did such and such or who and who get to what they were, and blah, blah, who's next in line. Like, that's the whole part about then kings and queens shit. Is just like who's next in line to take him. Because somebody always wants somebody to be there, and there's always people that don't want that person to be there.
Yeah.
That's that show. Or this show that I see. Game of Thrones is just like, I see. Just my take is Game of Thrones is everybody's pissed off. Certain people are not because they're there. Everybody's pissed off on who's running what, and we're all going to try to get them motherfuckers out of there by any means necessary. And then boom, you have that show. That show is all about people trying to gain.
Sound like two different shows, and
it's two completely. It is definitely two different shows. It's definitely two different shows.
Are you going to give Better Call Saul a chance?
I have no interest in that. But again, I had no interest in Breaking Bad, and then like when the pandemic hit, I think I watched like the first episode, and again, I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones and turned that shit off in 15 minutes. Yeah. And was like, I'm not watching this bullshit. What type of horse and carriage? I ain't watching none of this medieval crap.
Horse and carriage?
Dog, months went by and I was like, all right. Because I heard, just like I'm probably saying in your ear, I heard people talk about King of the North. Yeah. And it just, I'm not on it. When I feel like, because I'm always a jokester. I like joking. I love doing that. But when I'm not in on the joke, I feel like I'm left out. So then when I'm left out, I'm like, all right. Just like when they went to go see Kings of Comedy, I was left out of all their little fucking innuendos and the shit they said. I went to that movie theater by myself, sat in the back, and was fucking smirking, crackling, all of that shit. People were turning around, looking at me. I was like, fuck it. It was after a certain point, I was like, fuck it, it's over. I'm just cracking up. And then obviously, Bernie Mac came on. I'm freaking full stomach hurt, freaking doing the whole ab workout. I was in there. And then after I left there, then I could come to them and talk about the freaking jokes. Then I was in the know. So it's just like, I just see that same aspect. It's just like, I didn't watch Breaking Bad, and that was again amongst a lot of shows that I love to this day, just like Sopranos. Sopranos is pretty much my favorite show of all time. I definitely didn't watch that shit until who knows, way later than after it aired, and then And then I watched Breaking Bad. I watched Breaking Bad way after it aired, and I was like, bro, I'm so freaking mad that I didn't watch this. And while I was watching Breaking Bad, they came out with Better Call Saul, and I was like, I don't want to watch this shit. Like, ooh, it's just the freaking lawyer person. Like, that's not even meat and potatoes. So,
I mean, I would have. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no. And again, I think everybody has their own taste of things. Like
I said, it's good.
Certain people didn't like. I never would have watched Walking Dead, but I watched all the Night of the Living Dead's growing up. I watched all of those crazy movies. Mm-hmm. But then when they come up with a TV show, I'm like, I don't want to watch no crap that's, once a week we now got zombies and blah, blah, blah. Walking Dead is one of my favorite shows, period. And I'm like, I'm glad it happened in the way it did. Because
you never watched none of those spinoffs?
No, and I don't plan on it.
If they had prequels to that, you won't watch it?
No, I'm about to rewatch Walking Dead for probably the 4th time right now. I'm about to restart it.
So what made you want to watch House of the Dragon?
Because it's a filler. I'm a Game of Thrones
Why not
fan.
The Walking Dead stuff then? The other Walking Dead shows.
Game of Thrones set this bar that's unparalleled. That's like they've took you to this place.
All right.
The Red Wedding. Why would you do this to people? Like, I'm a aspiring writer, and I just see like, you see where you are in your writing, and you're like, and you see, with the work that's out there. I'm like, dog, it's just so much more. Like, it's so much more than you think that people think of and people want, and what the curve is. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I like stuff that moves me like that, and it's Game of Thrones. I would never, like, in my mind, I don't think of anything medieval, because if I think of anything medieval, I'm like, man, where can I insert black people in medieval times? And then that's a whole nother realm of dissection and all of that, but still, it's just like the storyline. I'm like, I think of it like, it's just a freaking crazy, far-fetched world that we live in, and that people like write about, and that we like, whatever you pick up. Like, I'm a basketball fan. I would say I'm a basketball fan. I love my sports. Mm. But there's nothing in me that makes me want to write about that stuff, or even
maybe somebody saw. Is that a dagger in the eye? Nice. Maybe somebody saw when the dragon's eyes look like a dagger. Oh, it is a dagger. But maybe somebody saw the Valerians, I guess, the black dudes with the dreadlocks. And was like, let me check this show out. Maybe they checked this one, and they said, let me check this out. They never saw Game of Thrones.
We're in that world of now certain people don't like certain people being a certain color or whatever. Right. But, and that is what it is. And I will say that is probably one of my strongest reasons that I watch the show. I'm like, man, they mad that they added black people? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to give this show a huge chance. I was already going to give it a chance, but because I was a fan of Game of Thrones, and I'm like, and they don't like this person being black? Yeah. Throw them in there. I hope they throw 10 more black people in there. And throw an Asian in there, too.
I think what got me watching this is because I missed 7 years of Game of Thrones. I was like, I ain't going back to watch all that right now. And I was like, this is a whole different story. I was like, if I need to, I'll go back and watch it after this. Plus, it's a prequel. It's like watching it in linear time, like watching it in order and shit. So, I can always go back and watch Game of Thrones, and it's not like this comes after it. Because if this was like a sequel story, then I would go watch Game of Thrones and then come back and watch it. But since it's a prequel, I was like, this is a unique opportunity to watch, like, not have to watch Game of Thrones, but watch the story in order. Yeah. Like, if I was growing up now and I never saw any of the Star Wars, I'm like, I wonder how it would be to watch it in order. 1, 2, 3, then 3, 4, 5.
They released the after before they released the before.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be a unique opportunity to watch the prequels and then watch, Darth Vader as a little kid, and then like go through the Luke story.
Well, no, I'm
keep
just
on
saying,
going.
like when they released, what was that, 4, 5, 6, and then they went back to 1, 2, 3. So you
No, I'm saying
already.
if I grew up now, I would have the unique opportunity to decide if I
If
want
you
to
wanna-
watch it
yeah,
in order.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like,
But
this is a unique opportunity.
if
to
you
do
had
that, so I'm
any,
doing
like,
it.
if you had parents that was like Star Wars fans,
Yeah, they'd probably
they
be
would
like
be
you.
like,
It'd probably just be like you.
You gotta
and then
do
be
this.
yelling.
This
Yeah, and
is-
I wouldn't have to do that. So I would watch it however I wanted to watch it.
Let's just say, a lot of people don't have to
But I
do
do
a lot
that
of things.
because my boy Sergio, his son, like I asked him, did you watch it with your son in order or what?
Yeah.
I think he said he watched it in the order it came out. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
No, but I'm saying, like, a lot of people that are,
This is a unique opportunity to be able to do that.
all the people that play sports now, people that, like, you know, they parents took them to all the camps and all the trainings. They're there because the parent put them there. The parent put those kids in that position to watch as they came out. The kids didn't want to say, they just were put in that position. That's like when people, like, you know, when kids grow up and, you know, their mom or their dad give them a freaking, you know, like a fucking Baltimore Orioles jersey or a freaking, you know, Philadelphia Flyers jersey. You were brought up in that, so you just grew up. That's what you knew.
Yeah.
So the same way, it's just like if your parents are that much into it, you're gonna, you know, most likely go in that direction
For a while.
For a while, yeah. And again, that's everybody has their own choices, and if when you're at a young age, you can be manipulated, but when you get older, you can like figure stuff out on your own. If you want to watch them in the order that they're supposed to come out, or in the order that they came out.
Yeah. I mean, you have parents that's only in the sports, never watch Star Wars, didn't care about Star Wars. Then you give them Star Wars.
Think about it. And
then when you get older, you'll be like, well, let me watch it however I want to watch it. So I'm curious about that, how people watching it.
Yeah, no, it's always
even
going
with
to be
the Marvel
that.
movies, is like watching it in order of.
But I think though, like
timeline.
it definitely depends on your workplace too. Your workplace, like outside of your, like, you know, you're at home, you watch what you want to watch. But when you go to work, if your workplace is talking about certain thing, you pretty much gonna like slide into.
Talking about the general public and not me, but I hear you.
I'm saying
I hear you. Slide into whatever I want to watch.
every
I'm
workplace
not
is
influenced
different.
really much by.
Every workplace is different.
Yeah.
But again, the reason why I watch freaking Game of Thrones.
Why would you watch what the people talking about at work?
They talking about some king of the north. I'm like, who the king of the north is?
I'm just saying.
I want to get on this joke. I want to get on this stuff.
Oh, that.
I'm like, I'm trying to figure.
I wanna be left- I wanna
There
be
was
left
no
alone.
prequel out, so this.
No.
This was it. This was the show.
It's about the
So
influence.
it was like, all
I
right.
want to be left alone at work.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like,
Are you watching that? I
At
don't
that
watch that,
time,
so go talk to them
this
about
was what it was, and it was like, and again, I was like you. Get that. I ain't watching that shit, man. Get that. You know, I'm rewatching Come to America.
We
Malcolm X
watch
million times
the brief
over,
stuff.
and then I was like, you know what? Let me step outside of my comfort zone because I didn't come up watching any crap, you know, like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, damn, they got me. So I became a boom, and again, it's not like this show and that show weren't out at the same time. That show was out when it was out, and that was that. There were no prequel. There were no. What's the after? I was talking earlier about
Sequel?
this.
Now you upset that it is
after. What do they call the after?
Sequel.
Like,
Prequel, sequel.
no.
Sequels come after a movie.
What comes after the sequel?
A second sequel.
I think it's a certain word.
No,
It's a term.
It's
So
like
you have a story,
Terminator,
and then you have the prequel,
which is what this is. Yeah,
right? And then you have a
sequel.
So when a story ends and they be like, we're going to
second
do
one is a
something
sequel.
after.
Yeah, it's a sequel. It's just sequels.
I swear it was something different. It could be the same. Yeah.
It's sequels. Sequels. He be drinking before he come here, y'all. Don't worry about it.
No, don't do me like that.
Don't do me
I
like
knew
that.
it was something. I thought it was something different.
Yeah.
This goddamn tea. Southern tea.
Southern hospitality. Southern hospitality.
Yeah, this joint was all.
Oh, don't worry about it. That's cool.
But I swear it was something different.
You need to?
Yeah.
I mean,
probably
I'll
gonna
put a
keep-
table
it's probably
on
gonna
that.
keep- Yeah.
I don't care about that.
But no, I swear it was something different. I swear it was another word for
No, just
post.
Sequel, yeah, it's a sequel.
and shit. That don't sound right.
Oh dear God. What is it? Alright, we gonna go
There's
see
some
it. We gonna look it up.
old
There ain't no
white man that made up a word.
sequela. It's not without
Okay.
to type in fucking sequela. Sequel, man, right there. There you go. For the people. A published broadcast or recorded work that continues a story or develops a theme of an earlier one. The sequel to Home Alone. Home Alone 2. Something that
Right,
took place
see, that was just-
after or a result of an earlier
So
event.
if it's
a
too,
sequel.
I
And prequel is a follow-up continuation. That's all. Common. I don't know what word you thought it was.
I definitely is a word. There's something out there that
Post-hastedness. Oh, yeah, actually, it had some synonyms. So let me see. It's synonyms for sequel.
post hastings.
Post
That definitely
mates.
ain't. That don't even sound cool enough.
We got consequence, result, upshot, outcome, development, issue, and conclusion. Postscript. What is it? Postscript. After effect, aftermath, sequelae, success, sequent, effect.
The after effect.
Aftermath.
It's not. It sounds smart.
Postscript.
Postscript.
Sequel. Afterthought, subscript. No. Postscript to this poem.
That just seemed like, in the
Star
end
Wars
credits.
sequel. Sequels and prequels. That's why they call them that. Sequels, the prequels. I hate the prequels. And then the sequels are with Ray, I think, and all that. Yeah, all that stuff. Star Wars. But, yeah.